Vladimir Putin has told Donald Trump he plans to retaliate against Ukraine for its drone attack, which will delay hopes for an immediate ceasefire. Joining us live now from Kiev is Yuriy Sak, the advisor to the Minister of Strategic Industries of Ukraine. Yuri, it's good to see you this morning. Presumably you'd be ready for this kind of response. So what sort of retaliation are you expecting from Russia?
Good morning, Pete. Well, Russia is a terrorist state, so the only response that we can expect is, of course, more missiles on Ukrainian peaceful cities, more drones. Our president just said it yesterday that since the beginning of 2025, Russians have already launched almost 12,000 drones on Ukrainian cities, more than 700 ballistic and cruise missiles. So, a Ukrainian government is issuing a warning every day now to Ukrainians that if there's an air raid siren on, they have to go to the bomb shelter, take their children to bomb shelters. And so, yes, we're getting ready for some form of retaliation. But look, just actually the night before that special operation, during which we have destroyed 1/3 of Russian strategic bombers worth $7 billion US. The night before that, they have launched an attack on Ukraine in which they have used almost 500 Shahed drones. Now, one Shahed drone, if it hits a block of apartments, it immediately destroys a couple of flats. People die, people get injured. So we've been living in this atmosphere of terror now for 3 years. So every time when Kremlin says that they're going to retaliate, it's just going to be more of the same, actually. But of course, we want this to stop.
Sure, but I mean, stopping is a way off now. Wouldn't you expect, Yuri?
Well, indeed. I mean, the negotiations in Istanbul, we were very skeptical about them from the very beginning because we know Russia very well. But by now, these peace talks, which are US-led initiative, they have turned into just essentially meetings about the exchange of prisoners of war, which is also a very important thing for us because we value our soldiers and we want to bring them all back home. But at the same time, we don't see any intention or goodwill on the part of Russia to end this war. They refuse to establish an unconditional ceasefire. They continue to bomb Ukrainian cities. They continue their attacks on the front lines. So I don't think they want peace.
So, Yuri, what, if anything, came out of that phone call between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump that interested you?
Well, first of all, that phone call was a bit of a surprise, but of course, these are two leaders of two sovereign countries, so they can call each other whenever they want. But every time they speak, of course, what we look for in these phone calls is more pressure from the US on Russia, because we know that there is only one way to end this war, and this is to impose more sanctions on Russia, to use more leverage that the US president has. And actually, in recent days, Donald Trump was he used very strong language in criticizing Russia for their atrocities. So one would hope that this would translate into some strong language during a phone call. But again, it's a very complicated peace process. And we hope that this is Donald Trump's strategy. We just hope the US stays on board as our strategic partner.
Do you think they are on board?
Well, until now, we're still using the military support that was approved by the previous White House administration. And going forward, we have no idea whether it will remain. But, our delegation headed by the head of the office of the president is in Washington, D.C. right now, speaking to the U.S. officials, to the senators, to the congressmen. And we hope that we will convince them that supporting Ukraine is in their national interest, and they will stay on.
Yuri, I know you got to go, but just a final one here. It's been a week of success for Ukraine with those attacks that you pointed out, those two long-planned and secret attacks. Should Russia be expecting more?
Well, absolutely, yes. What we have done with those attacks, of course, we have demonstrated to the world that, first of all, we know how to fight a smart war. We know how to fight asymmetrical warfare, modern warfare. We have also demonstrated that we are a civilized nation, that even when we strike Russia, we always target just military installations. Those aircraft that we have destroyed, those are the aircraft that on a daily basis launch missiles at Ukrainian cities. So going forward, we have a very gifted special services. So there's more to come for sure.
We'll be watching, Yuri. Thank you so much. That's Yuriy Sak there coming to us from Ukraine live this evening, his time, this morning our time.